How are we doing, guys? Back again with the opposition preview because that's what we do at All East TV. We've got opposition preview back again. John from the Wolfpack joins us. How are you doing, mate, first and foremost?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, football's good for you guys at the minute, unlike ourselves. I think it's going quite well for you, isn't it, at the minute? Obviously, we've just been chatting off air about a weird start to your season, really. Obviously, you lost the first 3 games, as you mentioned, but you've really... I mean, the performances were always there. I certainly saw your game against Man United. I think I saw a bit of your game against Leicester as well. And to be fair, you probably should have got results in those 2 as well. So no real surprise for me that you've turned it around. Is it looking? Are things looking up now under Bruno Lage for Wolves?
Yeah, things are looking definitely better. At the moment, as I say, we couldn't quite do enough. We couldn't quite score. We went through about 2-3 weeks of no goals, and then all of a sudden, once you scored one, they just keep on coming, don't they? So I think it was more trying to get some of the new players that had joined the team, like Francesco Trincao from Barcelona, playing in the Prem and linking up well, and then obviously Raul has only just came back from a long-term injury, and he hadn't scored, so there was so much pressure on him to get his first goal. But since we got that first goal, the goal came, and we've done well since then. We're on a bit of a roll now, winning games, even though we're probably not even playing as well as we did in the beginning of the season when we were losing. We're winning games when we're not playing quite so well, which is quite interesting. But still, a win to win. Even against Villa, we didn't play that well first half. Second half, what a comeback. 3 goals in, 12, 13 minutes. So I think it's about having that character. And we came through quite a bad injury crisis, a little bit similar to what you're going through at the moment, from what I've heard. Leeds have obviously got quite a lot of injuries. We came through that last year, last season, and all the way through to the summer. We've only just started getting players back now, so we're hoping for a good season. We've pretty much got everyone pretty much back. Neto's going to be back. He's in the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully everyone back by Christmas. And then it's the first time in ages we've had an injury free team, really.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks like you're trying to play more on the front foot this season. As you already mentioned, people like Trincao turned up, exciting signings like that. Obviously, Chen as well looks an interesting player from Leipzig. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you tried it against Villa. I don't think you did, actually. But I think against Newcastle, you had Chen and Jimenez up top together almost as like a front 2. And I think Chen scored 2 and Jimenez made both from us. It was something, it might have been the other way around, but it looked very impressive. So it's, from our point of view, that's quite worrying. I'm not going to lie, that is quite worrying.
Yeah, from what I've heard, our manager has been really focusing up top on a partnership between Raul and Hwang, which is very similar to what we had with Raul and Jota before he went to Liverpool. So that's the partnership they're working on. And eventually, when we can go to a back 4, we're going to be playing that. We can be able to play 2 up top and 2 wingers. That's what we want to do, a 4-4-2, which is kind of unheard of at the moment in the Premier League.
I know. That's like something from the mid-2000s that you're talking about there, John. And not a lot of the modern football fans won't even know what 4-4-2 is. No, to be fair, it's that rare these days.
That's Bruno, I suppose. If you look at his previous teams he's been with, he's only ever played 4-4-2. That's all he knows. He came really to Wolves. I don't think in his career he's really played a back 5 like we're playing at the moment. 3 centre backs, because he's just always known a 4-4-2. But I suppose he's been able to do that with 5 at the back, pulling a winger like Hwang up forward more to link up play. But we'll see what happens, but I'm really looking forward to the game against Leeds. I know obviously you've not been winning that many games. I think you've only got 1 win, but you're still a hard team to play against, especially when we're away. We'll see how we get on. To be honest, I'm not actually saying this, but we actually seem to be playing better when we're playing away. We've not actually done that well at home. We've been doing okay on our away games, so it's going to be a good game. Unfortunately, I can't make it. I'm a season ticket holder for home games, but it's a bit too far away from me at the moment, Leeds, and I've been struggling to get a ticket. If I got a ticket, I'd make the trip up, but no, I'm not going to make the game, unfortunately. Make it on TV, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing now with obviously the 3 o'clock games. You know, when you think I used to moan, I was moaning last season about all these different kickoff times and all that lot. But I'm thinking actually, it was quite handy for watching every single game in that lot, and not having to worry about things like streams and that lot. But anyway, not that any of us use streams. Let's just put that out. None of us use streams. We'll just point that out. Let's just say that. But yeah, look, I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be nice and open. I think obviously not to have a go at Nuno, but I did feel that last season when we played you guys, to be fair, you won both games, so it worked for you. But they weren't the greatest of games, really. I think obviously we had a lot of the ball. No. We couldn't break you down, and then you had one or two counter-attacks and caught us out. I mean, I'm expecting something a lot more open, to be honest, John, this weekend.
We were very defensive, weren't we, last year when we played you? A little bit like we've seen Tottenham play in the beginning of the season, just hitting on the counter. That's what we used to do. But they brought our new manager, Bruno Lage, in to obviously change that. He's much more of a attack-minded manager. So it's going to be interesting because obviously Leeds, I know you've got a bit of an injury crisis, but from when I have seen you, you've been really attacking team on the front foot. But I know obviously you're going through a bit of an injury crisis, so I don't know if are you still playing attacking football, or are you a bit more reserved?
Trying to. We're still. I mean, to be honest, despite the drop off in results, it's not like been a change of style or anything like that. In fact, some fans have seen argue that maybe we do need to go a little bit more defensive, but no, we still try and play on the front foot. It's not quite clicking at the minute. I'm. If you got like a scale from 0 to 10, a lot of people say if 0's going towards like negativity towards the team, a lot of people are heading towards that. Look, last weekend was not great. I think last weekend really did hammer it home for a lot of people in terms of like this season's going to be more difficult. But no, we're still trying to play the same way. I think it's just. I think the league's improved, to be honest with you, John. I don't know what you think. It'd be quite interesting to see what as a neutral fan, what you think of this. But I just think across the league, there's not many average or even bad managers in the league now. I think they're all good managers. Even the teams down there, you're looking, thinking, oof, can't believe they're down there. But you think every single game's a battle this season. I know Norwich and Watford not looking too clever at the minute, Burnley, etc. But every game's a battle. 100%. I think that's the big thing this season. I think last season, no disrespect to them, but West Brom, Fulham, Sheffield United, even like Newcastle and that lot, they weren't great. They weren't particularly well managed, those clubs, and they were all winnable games for me. I mean, you only have to look at Wolves. I think Wolves have massively improved, but you won't be able to tell from just league position because your league position isn't that much better than what it was last season. But you're clearly a much better team, certainly from a neutral looking at it. But would you say that as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got teams that are playing much better, like Palace, Everton look better. These are the teams that you would have played last season, and maybe you would have got more a point. You come away from a point, but you're playing Everton now. You're playing Palace. They're looking good, and there's just so much competition at the moment. Everyone wants to make that European qualification, especially if you can chance to get conference now. It's just really difficult to get a win against some of these teams because you've got teams like Brentford that are really playing good football. They're aggressive side, the defenders, they'll push you around, and they knew exactly what they were doing coming into the new season, and they're doing well. Look at the position. And Brighton, they've just got solid players, and I think for us, I don't know if it's the same for Leeds, but some of our players, they're not so aggressive, and that's why you get teams like Brighton, players like Dunk and stuff that are knocking people around and getting headers and cheat, and that's where we struggle. That's how, if you're going to beat us, that's how you do it. Your players need to be strong. They need to, because we've got people like Marcel, tiny defenders, not really that tall. Cody hasn't got a lot of strength on him. Kilman's just a young lad, really. He's 21, small, not very built. That's where we struggle. That's where people beat us.
Kilman's sorry to just interrupt you there, but Kilman's a really interesting one. It drives me mad looking at it because it just doesn't look right. But he's a left-footed centre back, but he plays on the right of the back three, doesn't he? Yeah. It looks absolutely. When I saw it first, I was thinking it looks absolute. It's driving me mad. Like I always think, left footer there, right footer there, right footer there. Don't swap them round and that. Like it looks absolutely crazy.
It never usually happened. It's because Bolly usually is in the team, but Bolly had a hamstring injury, so they had to basically put 𝘽𝙎, Coady, and 𝘽𝙎𝙎 in. We had no other defender. We had no other centre backs, so we had to play them free. And for some reason, where 𝘽𝙎 likes to play, 𝘽𝙎𝙎 just basically got slotted there, and it has worked. We've only let in 6 outfield goals all season. When you think Man United have let 10 in, Liverpool have let 6 in. We've let 6 outfield goals because we let a penalty in, I think. With penalty against Tottenham, but we haven't let that many goals in, and the centre backs have been doing well, and our manager knows that. So he's just kept 𝘽𝙎𝙎 in that position. But I think if Bolly does come back, and there's a massive chance we might see Bolly against Leeds, there's a massive chance that he'll be back and 𝘽𝙎𝙎 might be swapped over. I think we might see 𝘽𝙎 dropped, even though he's a great player and he got the goal for us against Aston Villa. I just think he might do a bit of rotation now because our players haven't really had much chance of a rest. Because 𝘽𝙎 went with the international team to Morocco, and he's the captain of Morocco, and he plays all the games. And I think maybe they might give someone a rest. But he's definitely not going to be the same formation we played against Villa when we play you, because he won't go back to that. He'll play Raul back up top, but he was just too knackered from Mexico. I think he had like 24 hours since he played Mexico. In the he just didn't make the Villa team because he was just too tired.
Well, I'm buzzing at that news that Raul Jimenez is back.
Yeah, he's.
I'm buzzing to. That's just what Leeds fans want to hear. That John, mate, Raul Jimenez is back. Yeah. That's. But I mean, to be fair, I've said it all season. I think as soon as Raul Jimenez goes on the run of 1 or 2 goals, consistently, I think he absolutely. Yeah. I think he just rips the league up again like he did before the injury. I think it's such a shame when the way the injury happened. And I from a neutral fan, obviously after this weekend, I hope he bounces back because fair play to him. He showed great character, to come back as quickly as he did, and he's the thing I like about him as well. Certainly in that Man United game, he's up against Maguire and Varane. He wouldn't back down on anything. There was no fear in him at all. I absolutely respect that so much. But who has kind of been your star this season, if you had to pick one, or has it just been a team effort so far?
A lot of people have said our goalkeeper, 𝘽𝙎𝙎 𝙎𝙎.
Yeah, new signing, isn't he, Sarr?
He's a new signing. He came from Olympiacos. He had quite a lot of Champions League experience, and he was also, I think he was 2nd or 3rd Portuguese keeper for Portugal. But this year, he didn't get into the Portuguese squad, but beforehand, he was in the Portuguese squad. We got him basically because Patricio, even though he was a good keeper, he didn't have very good ball distribution. So he wanted almost like a sweeper keeper, someone that would come out and really be almost like an extra defender, someone that's really good at kicking the ball out. Because all Patricio used to do was just kick it up in the air and just hope someone wins it. Whereas Sarr will, do you know what I mean? He'll run out, he'll get the ball.
No, we've done that ourselves.
Yeah. So he's a really good keeper, and he's shown now that he can actually stop some really hard shots just as well as Patricio, but he's just ball distribution is amazing. He's already got an assist. I think he's the first goalkeeper in this season, because I don't think he's the first goalkeeper this season to get an assist. That's how good he is. Wow. Just kicking the ball out.
Was it a good assist as well, or was it a bit lucky?
Yeah, it was a class assist. It went straight to Raul, and then it was the goal that Raul got against Southampton.
Actually, I remember this. Yeah, who was it again? Southampton.
Southampton, yeah.
It's a great goal,
he got the ball straight to Raul, past everyone, and then, not past everyone, but straight to Raul, and then Raul just had to take on 2 defenders, and then he slotted it in, didn't he? But he's a good keeper, and then I think that was this month, and then last month, 𝘽𝙎𝙎 got Player of the Month. So 𝘽𝙎𝙎 and 𝘽𝙎𝙎 Sarr, because 𝘽𝙎𝙎 don't really put a foot wrong. He's a really good defender, even though he's quite a small centre back, and he still does enough, and he does really well. And I suppose Moutinho.
If I'm right in saying, I think 𝘽𝙎𝙎, I'm pretty sure, got man of the match at Ellen Road last season when we played you guys. He was an absolute monster in that game. Obviously, he beat us in the 1-0 game. I'm pretty sure he got man of the match. But yeah, I think my big fear from a Leeds fan's point of view going into this game is Moutinho and Neves in midfield. It's trying to get the ball off them two. We know we like to press high, but maybe not. We haven't really pressed as well this season. I think everyone would agree with that. And I'm just thinking with Moutinho and Neves being able to keep the ball. I think that was I think for me, again, I might be totally wrong here, but I never really felt that Nuno ever really played to Neves or Moutinho's strengths in the Premier League. You know, in terms of playing a little bit more long ball and direct. I thought he had the quality to play through the thirds for Moutinho and Neves. And are you really starting to see them influence games more now, those two?
Yeah, definitely. I think with Nuno, he couldn't get them both to play that well together at the time. Like, they would play well, but he'd usually play Dendoncker and Neves, or Dendoncker and Moutinho, and he couldn't. He really struggled to get them to play too well together. And it wasn't like they were bad players; they were just too similar. So they're both doing the same kind of role. No one was going a bit further ahead. No one was like they were both doing the same thing. Whereas Bruno now has really told them which direction to go, and in this way, Moutinho drops back and Neves really pings the ball across and does real accurate passing, whereas Moutinho is really good at winning the ball back. He's got really good tackle. Also, is Neves, I suppose, as well. They've both got really good stats for winning the ball back, and that's where the problem will be in midfield, because whoever gets it in midfield, they are really good, and it's because of their experience. Like, I think Moutinho now has got 120 or 150 caps last week he got for Portugal. So he's an experienced player, and he's in he's 35 now, so he knows what he's doing. He's a good player, but I think the problem we've got at the moment, where Leeds are going to win the game, is Marcel. He's our left wing back. Our main first wing back, 𝘽𝙬 has been out for 6 months with an ACL. And then he's our second choice left wing back, and he's struggling a bit. He's in his he's approaching mid-30s now. I think he's about 33, and he's really struggling. Sorry, he's really struggling to defend. And if your attackers come down that side on the left, on your right, they'll struggle. They'll do well. He'll struggle because he just doesn't seem to win duels. People get past him, and I think a lot of teams are targeting that. And that's where, if Marcel's having an off day, Leeds can win the game. That's what I think. Anyway.
I tell you what, that's good to hear. That's good to hear that obviously with the way Rafinha's played at this moment in time, hopefully he comes back in. I think he is, well, certainly in an attacking sense, he is the main man for us. So that's something that hopefully matches up quite well for Leeds. But just before I let you go, John, what have you felt to Leeds this season? Have you seen much of us? Have you any particular areas you're worried about in terms of facing us?
I think I'm not worried about your defence, and I'm not just saying that. I just think that we've got quite paceful attackers like Traoré. Okay, a lot of people laugh about him, saying he can't finish his dinner, but he can push people around. He's aggressive, and if you actually look at Aston Villa, the 3 goals really he helped make them. Like, his runs are incredible. For me,
but he didn't get the direct contribution, did he? Like, he didn't get the goal or the technically this. He's not one of those players that the stats, I think, in that kind of sense, will ever really favour.
Yeah, and the thing is about Traoré is it don't matter what team you are. Some teams put 2 players on him. Some teams put 3 players, and that creates so much more space in the pitch. So, and that's where the problem is. And I think that's where we'll be okay with the attack. What worries me is your forwards. I just think that our defence at the moment, even though it's looking good, Semedo and Marcel are problems. And if your wingers go against Semedo or Marcel, they can get in, and that's where the problem is. And that's where, if you want to score goals, that's how you do it. You don't come through the middle. Mostly you come through Marcel, but Semedo has been known to get a mistake. He's all right wing back. A lot of players can get past him, but some days they have good days, some days they have off days. I'm not saying the shit all the time, but the last couple of games Marcel hasn't been that good, and there has been pressure on the manager to drop him, so he may not even play, because we have got another quite good left wing back on the bench, which is a shame really. He's not getting any match time, but if he comes in, you may find that the game would be a little bit harder for you. But if you see Marcel in the lineup, you'll be rubbing your hands, I think.
I mean, Semedo, I do watch quite a bit of Barcelona. I know I like my Spanish football, as everyone in the chat will know. He's not. if you direct against Semedo, you can get past him. I think Jack Harrison showed that at Ellen Road, to be fair. I think he had a lot of joy against Semedo. I think he's good going forward. I'm not going to deny that. He's technically a very, very good footballer, I think, Semedo. But defensively, there's a reason he plays right. I always think if you play right wing back and you're not trusting the back four, it says a lot defensively. It doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means that they don't. There's not a full. If Bruno Lage was fully trusting in Semedo and Marcel, he would just play a back four, I personally think. But he's he doesn't, and obviously you can push them higher up the pitch. But I think that's somewhere where he could hurt you potentially. But then you could say the same about ourselves. Obviously we've not defended the wide areas particularly well at all this season. A lot of wingers have had joy against us, so I think it's got the makings of a very, very open game, this. But I just want to just shout out on the Stoop, absolute legends on the Stoop, all the way from Brooklyn, America, absolute legends. Lovely to see you. That less so though. That's not needed. There's no need for that, Lolo. I'm assuming it is Lolo in the chat, but that's just unnecessary. That, mate, that's unnecessary. You don't have to rub it in. But yeah, I guess. I mean, John, just one last question then, mate. Your prediction going into this game: Leeds versus Wolves on Saturday afternoon at 3:00.
I'm going to be honest. I think we might just scrape something here, and I think we might win it. And that's nothing against Leeds, because I love Leeds. I actually really do like Leeds, and I like watching you. And I haven't got really a bad thing to say about you. But I do think that maybe we might win like 2-1. I think we'll probably let a goal in. But we've got the character now in the last few games just to do whatever it takes to get a goal. And even if we do get a goal, we'll drop back. Like, we've got 3 goals in 12 minutes. The goals are coming now. Beforehand we were struggling, but even against Newcastle, like especially with like Hwang at the moment and Ryle back, I think there's a chance that that Wolves may do it. But if it's a draw, it's a draw. I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to go with 2-1.
I love some of these comments coming in. There's a lot of negativity around this game. But if you can't tell, John, but yeah, I mean, what is overall the target then for Bruno Lage this season? Obviously, I may be a little bit critical of Nuno in this video, but he did obviously get you back-to-back seventh place finishes. What's the target for Bruno Lage this season? Is it something similar?
To be honest, it's to bring out the best of the youth team, because when he was at Benfica, he won the league. He didn't actually lose a game with Benfica. He came in January, and I think he won 18 games straight, and then won the league with 100 goals in the season or something ridiculous. It's 100 goals. But anyway, he wants to get a lot more free-flowing attacking football, and he wants to play a back four. So we will be going in January transfer window for centre backs, so we can play a back four. And then I think what he'll do is then he'll open up that number 10 position, which will probably be for Podence behind me, or Trincao, I think, as number 10. And I think that is the aim, to get more goals, solid back four. We've been looking at Botman, Sven Botman. So we've been looking at players, but I think that is what he wants to do, and hopefully aim to get as close as we can to Europa Conference. If we finished not last season, but over 2 seasons, 7th, I think he'll be aiming for something like that. And if we're lucky, 7th might be enough to get conference if the people that win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup are the big four, then that 7th position will get you Europe. If not, I think anywhere between 7th, 8th, 9th is what they're aiming for. I think if they can just, even if they make top 10, I don't think the chairman would be too disappointed with it being such a difference this season, with still players that are still coming back from injury. Neto still coming back, Johnny Otto coming back, and Bruno 𝙎𝙖. So we've got 3 players.
I think the thing is as well is that you could easily be better than what you were in those 2 seasons that you finished 7th back to back, but you might finish lower in the table because the qualities. Because you got to think about it. I personally would be surprised if you don't finish top 8 on the basis of the players you've got coming back, and you've got Raul Jimenez there, who's not even on full tilt yet. I do think we'll finish top 8, to be honest. But you got your West Ham, you got Everton, you got Leicester. All these different teams. Even Villa, I think, might start to turn up at some point. Leeds might start to turn up at some point. So you might easily be a lot better, score a lot more goals, win more points, but you might finish lower, and that's the difficult thing, I guess, for a team that's outside that top 4 at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose it depends as well who opens up the checkbook in January. If Newcastle, even though they look crap, if they can,
yeah, that's true.
If they spend 100 mil in January and get 3 good players, defender, centre mid, and attacker, that could be enough to change it around. I don't think they'll be quite top 10, but I mean, Arsenal, for example,
yeah, forget about Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal are a team that they're not doing that well, but you can imagine them opening the checkbook in January and then probably doing all right. Same with Tottenham. I can imagine Tottenham getting a few extra players in January, and then all of a sudden you're fighting against these teams that have got massive money and big checkbooks. And
yeah, exactly.
It's the same, isn't it?
It is, but that's it. That's why I quite like Wolves, West Ham, and that lot upsetting the apple cart a little bit. It's absolute fair place here. But John, just remind us just before we sign off, where can we find you, mate?
So I'm just on the Wolfpack. I've got my own personal Twitter, but it's nothing to do with Wolves. So you can find this on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook, and it's just the Wolfpack. We're the biggest unofficial Wolves page in the world, and hopefully soon will be official. But yeah, we're approaching nearly 50,000 followers overall social media networks. So if anyone does fancy maybe Wolves as a second team, give us a follow.
Absolute fair play, man. Absolute fair play. Check them out, guys. Make sure you check them out. I've popped onto their channel as well to do a quick opposition preview from a Leeds fan's point of view as well. So make sure you check that out as well, guys. And yeah, I guess we'll leave it there. Tim has signed us off. So we will say goodbye to you guys. Thanks very much for joining. And we will leave it there.
See you guys. Have a good day.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.